Minecraft, the second best-selling game of all time. Anyone telling you it is actually the first is actually technically right, but I have to say second because people for some reason consider Tetris to be number one, despite people including every single entry in the series as just the one game. It's so stupid. I don't get why people say that. It's Minecraft. Point being, it is a cornerstone of gaming culture, a game with a very deep history spanning over a decade. Nearly every single person, a part of my generation at least, has at least seen, played, or heard, or even interacted with this game. There are a ton of people out there who will talk about how much they love this game, but in the sense of how Sonic fans love Sonic, if you get what I'm saying. Personally, Minecraft has always been a part of my life. I still play it today with friends and have a great time, but the years before that, I was still consuming Minecraft content. And as I realized one day that memories aren't as permanent as they seemed, I decided to make the decision to start this series. This series will be a multi-part saga detailing all of the different facets of the Minecraft community and or the game itself that I loved dearly growing up. Also, don't expect some rose-tinted glasses nonsense where I complain about the modern game the whole time either. I love modern Minecraft far more as an actual game than older versions that I will be talking about. It's just that because these time periods hold so many memories I don't want to lose, it's time that I etch them in stone, you know? So anyways, I dropped like $10 for these 4 pieces of garbage. They were practically giving them away! Growing up in the worst state in the entire United States according to several rankings didn't actually make growing up as hard as many would expect. It just made it obscenely boring a lot of the time. Unless I was outside lighting ants on fire or whatever it was I was supposed to be doing, sitting at home bored was what took up the majority of my time. However, something that did fill up a lot of that bored alone time was an up-and-coming, sort of, game at the time, Minecraft. Despite hearing about it all the time at school, I actually had no real way of playing it once I got home, but I always wanted to know more about the game. While most of these methods of hearing about the game will make it into their own episodes in the saga, this episode is all about these books, remember? At my school, having any number of these books was like owning a ton of salt in the salt trade per book. These things were traded around every single day. I very rarely had anything to bargain for, so I usually could only borrow from nice people, and needless to say, the ones people were comfortable with parting with were not the actual good ones. Needless to say, I never read the Essential book until writing this video. Speaking of the Essentials book, that's actually the first one I should cover, so I guess I'll cover it. Man, nostalgia. Ugh! Sorry, this happens every single time I see old Minecraft images with these shaders. And it won't get better. According to this book's self-description, it's written to help new players learn the ropes, with it being written by that guy, and who? And holy Jesus, Captain Sparkle. Creator of Minecraft style. I mean, I wouldn't call it his crowning achievement or anything, but if Minecraft says it is, I guess it's so. In this short description of the game, it puts a swamp as the first example of the examples of biomes you can find, which is pretty funny to me, because why? Why would you want that to be the first biome you let people know is out there to go and find? It also describes the Nether as, whoa, how is this book approved for child audiences? On the other page, it describes the main 2 guys who write entries in the book, with Notch's entry screaming, I wrote this more than anything else. Like, 1 million Twitter followers is not that epic of an achievement, man. No one who uses Twitter even likes Twitter. This also notes that Notch is working on other projects after bequeathing Minecraft development to Jeb, which, no he isn't, correct me if I'm wrong here, but hasn't he just not done anything since the Mojang buyout from Microsoft? You know, besides wearing that fedora in every single photo. Next page details the history of Minecraft, and oh boy, that says 2013 for present day. I thought this book came out in like 2015 or something. There's a page showing the basic PC controls, and by God, is that the worst pixel art of a mouse I've ever seen. Why is the scroll wheel all the way up there? Oh yeah, man, this just blows. I will say, this book makes it pretty hard to make witty comments about it because half of these pages are just pure info dumping with little else. But there's also no way they can imply the old auto-crafting system on Bedrock didn't suck. Better note, this is the worst hotbar I have ever seen. Don't do this. Also, this is just a general thing that applies to every single book I'm going to talk about here, but I hate the use of justify when it comes to the text in a lot of these pages. It just looks so wonky. After the very general beginning section, it starts the survival guide portion, for which I will supplement footage of myself in 1.6 when the book came out, playing the game in accordance with the guide. Okay, I got this. First step, good seed. Damn it! Second step, tree. Got this. Third, get wood, tools of everything. Why didn't I think of that? Next, mine coal and get charcoal from the furnace. No brainer, really. Next, build stupid shelter all on a cliff. Place all my stuff down in the shelter, then wait for the night to pass. Now that it's day 2, I gotta get stone tools. Thank you, book. It also says to start thinking about food, which isn't a bad idea. The only issue is that the book makes me feel bad for killing animals. Veganism it is. Next, I'm gonna make a bed by killing a sheep. It's still veganism. If they don't drop meat, it's okay, okay? And then... Now, I've seen some off-model elemental tables before, but this is just ridiculous. Oh my god, Captain Sparkles, creator of Minecraft Style, wrote this page? But he didn't write this one! These next few pages reveal info about all the mobs in Minecraft in detail, while providing little insight. Like, I know that I can fish a dog, but it's not like I should. Hostile mobs and villagers get a lot more info put into their sections, which I guess is fair. And once again, thank you Captain Sparkles, creator of Minecraft Style, for writing this. And thank you Minecraft for teaching me the official name of a creeper is in fact Creepus Explodus. The book tries to tell you on how to deal with all the different mobs, and it's very clear they ran out of ideas after like the first 3. Like, don't quote me on this, but wouldn't baiting this thing into a cactus take like 3 years to kill them?
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I think the fire's hurting him more than the cactus, actually. Does their pathfinding even, like, let them touch the cactus? Just die. Come on. Come on. In. Go. Into. You see, I feel like the fire's doing all the work here. That was no good.
One thing I will concede on is, as silly as this book is, it's still teaching me things I had no idea about. Like, what do you mean slimes can't swim upwards? Why not? Actually, never mind, this whole page is just dedicated to making fun of slime's AI. Poor things. The next full spread is Captain Sparkles, creator of Minecraft Style, recounting his first ever day playing Minecraft. My only witty comment is the use of the words like bind. Like, I know for a fact Captain Sparkles didn't write this. He isn't Shakespeare. Reveal the ghostwriter, Mojang. With the help of the next 2 pages, which tell me how to make a better Minecraft base, I managed to upgrade my humble abode from this to this. Don't judge me, okay? I spent like 20 minutes getting sand for these stupid windows. The book then tells me that I need to go make a quaint little garden outside. You think they'd at least tell me how to make my house not look like trash by proxy? Love the vibes here, though. So what you're telling me is that they tell you how to make an 100% useless garden, which just looks pretty, before teaching you how to grow actual food. Like, to each their own, but I had to die to reset my saturation every 4 minutes while building this garden. And officially, after 66 pages, they finally tell us that armor might come in handy, while supplementing this sentiment with the hardest image of all time. Like, if this stupid infographic wasn't in the corner, I would have this framed. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Please email me the full screenshot, Mojang. The next page tells you how to get out there from your base and start exploring. Only issue is I followed the first tutorial and don't have that house. Okay, I have the house. Goodbye, home. I shall miss you. A few of the next pages are taken up by this interview about Minecraft from Jeb and Notch, and I'm not trying to say that I'm not reading all of that, but I'm just not reading all of that. This page, however, tells the reader about all the different official Minecraft and non-official Minecraft-related sites. And right below the texture pack site, we have... And that's the book. But a lot of people can still be left after reading this with many questions, which may include one of the following. What is combat, what is building, and what is redstone? Which are all very conveniently good questions, because after this first book came out, they decided that the best course of action was to release 3 more. And these were the ones I personally got to read as a kid. So these are the ones I'm most excited to talk about and reread after all these years. And which one do we start with? Eeny, meeny, miny, you! Oh my god, they ran out of ideas after the first book. This book, dubbed the Combat Handbook, is all about combat in Minecraft. I say that with air quotes because combat in Minecraft, as simple as it was pre-combat update, does not lend itself to having an entire handbook written about itself. AKA, half the book spends its time retreading talking about all the mobs they already talked about in the first book. But that'll be no issue as long as I can read the entries from my boy, Captain Sparkles, creator of Minecraft... No, this can't be. No! Stupid book getting rid of Captain Sparkles. They do know he created Minecraft Style, do they not? The book starts off, obviously, by detailing how to make the different weapons of Minecraft, their effectiveness, as well as anvil and enchantment table mechanics. One of the weapons is the dispenser, which is the most effective weapon of all time compared to all the others. Watch as I effortlessly slay this zombie with my dispenser weapon. Something I love about the escalation of the weapons is that it goes from simple sword fighting straight to Minecraft liquid napalm dropping. Minecraft endorses griefing, armor, which they already talked about, and okay, now this is just getting concerning. Do they not realize that cacti aren't that big of a threat as they seem to think?
I love working for Mojang.
The next half of the book talks about how to deal with every single mob in Minecraft. So here's my single sentence comment for each page. Why would I try and use a splash potion on these guys? Let them have the high ground. Who do you take me for, a fool? How would I stop myself from that happening? Stop victim blaming slime attacks. Don't get too close to creepers. Why didn't I think of that? What? Oh dang, it looks like I dropped my headgear. Now the skeleton is immune to the sun. Why didn't I heed the book's warnings? Ah yes, the iconic zombie strength, corridors. Yes, but wouldn't, like, putting witches in lava make them easier to take out because they would move slower? Enderman killed by cactus. Didn't know this handbook was every modern Minecraft YouTuber. I'll add my own defense against the ghast. I call it moving an inch. They're not that accurate. Okay, that is true. Magma cubes do drown in water, but I think that's not an option right now. Once again, were you able to put water in the nether back then? This says to use a sword, then says to not get close. I think that's counterintuitive, that's all I'll say. There seems to be some confusion on these mobs. They put no step 0. Step 0 is to not hit them in the first place. Also, I know this isn't what they meant with these images, but what I thought they meant when I saw these images is that in order to fight the wither, you need to actually build it. I don't know, I can't describe why I thought that's funny. And then you gotta go to the end. Bummer. So the way the attack methods are described here are very aggressive. The Ender Dragon will attack you until you die. And that's all the mobs done and dusted. We are now halfway through the entire book. After this, they describe enchanting in more depth than they did earlier, which is cool and all, but what I'm really here for is the potions. If I couldn't understand it before, today me will as I read up about them in this comprehensive guide. The book then goes on to talk about something far more important, PvP. The issue is I cannot have any demonstrations for this because surprisingly, I have no friends playing Minecraft 1.6. I love how the book details multiplayer as a very wholesome experience where everyone is getting along, when in reality it always just ends up looking like this after 3 days. And Mojang themselves are endorsing griefing in this book, which I guess they realize too because the next page is just talking more about PvP. This list includes all the stuff you'll need for hand-to-hand combat, from mushroom stew all the way to a smite sword, a notoriously powerful sword to player characters. Needless to say, I remember this page always having checks on it when I was a kid. The adjacent page details on how to have a good offense and defense, with a very important defensive ideal being to have a schizo bunker made out of obsidian at the ready. The book then states, as a good offensive strategy, you need to be a total scumbag and make people think you're friendly before betraying them. Oh, that's where the stew comes in. Then we finally get our first YouTuber entry, which teaches us all about how to make an even better schizo base, not made out of obsidian. Watch as I counter all of the defenses listed. Dispensers, place blocks. Soul sand, place blocks. Cacti and lava, place blocks, or just walk through the cacti. The next YouTuber entry tries to explain a simple redstone trap that can be put in one of these bases. Does it work? We'll never know because that's way too many redstone torches for me to understand the trap. The next trap is far easier, so here's my attempt. Watch as an unsuspecting me gets blown to smithereens by a tree. Next up, TNT cannon. Dang it. Alright, now we're talking. An epic base is the exact thing I was expecting to read about in this combat-based book, with such tips as building this thing. Leaves a lot up to interpretation. But that's all just defense. Who really cares? What I care about is offense. Time to raid another base.
Recon, timing, tag team, Rico, come on, Golem, go faster, recon, and I got the tools to boot. The only thing I'm missing is my enemy's enemy.
The final tip being to go on a custom map, blah blah blah, Reddit scary, boo, and we're done. Well, that was something. This book, despite being less than lacking on the whole being a useful source of information on how to play Minecraft, made up for this fault by being very interesting in the information presented and all of that. Personally, I remember why I loved this book so much as a kid compared to the other ones, because this book just gives the reader so many ideas for really cool ways to play Minecraft with friends. But remember, during the time I was reading this book, I could not enact any of the ideas as I couldn't play Minecraft on anything. Heads, building book, tails, redstone book. Alright, building book it is. I'm gonna say this, despite how useful this book is in a vacuum, it is definitely my least favorite out of the books in terms of sheer entertainment. I don't know, it's just I would have far preferred a book that actually taught building techniques instead of just block by block tutorials. The first book even did this better by at least telling you how to make a bench. I didn't say the bench was any good, mind you. You can also tell this book is lame by the fact that this only has one guest writer compared to the multiples of the other books. And no, the one writer isn't Captain Sparkles, creator of Minecraft Style. I can't even crack any jokes about the writing or the techniques or anything because the book is just a glorified instruction manual. And nobody can make jokes about those. Trust me, I've tried. Why do you think no Lego movie video has come out? And thank you for Yerk for writing the entirety of this book apparently. Your efforts are there. And without any further ado, I guess I have no other choice than to read the final book, the Redstone book. Well, I guess that's not true. I could always just not do that. Welcome to the Redstone book. Home of the red, land of the stone. As a kid, I always dreaded being given this thing to borrow instead of the ones I was more interested in as a kid, like the Essential, which I never got, or the Combat, which I always wanted, or at least the Building book, which has sorta cool things to look at. But as I've matured and aged like fine wine, I've grown to realize that Redstone isn't as nerdy and as lame as I remember. Okay, maybe it's still as nerdy, but by no means is it lame. So maybe reading this book will be my redemption arc. Let's flip to a random page and see if they actually do anything too complex for me to understand. According to the book's self-summary, it's going to teach you how to make Redstone awesome, which I read as the book begging the reader to not stop reading after they saw whatever the heck this thing is. The first thing the book covers is getting redstone and getting a lot of it, which is a problem I've never had. My redstone chest is bursting. After page 9 or so, the book actually starts talking about what redstone is and what it does. The book does take the appropriate amount of time explaining the basics though, I'll give them that. Starting small with things like simple currents used to power pistons, to redstone torch mechanics, then to pistons, sticky pistons, etc, etc. Who cares? I only care about the redstone lamp because it has utility. Utility, dang it! Then they teach you how to make the most conspicuous piston door of all time. Oh man, where's the secret base? My personal favorite threat-sounding name is none other than the Pulse Shortener. It's as entertaining as it sounds, I assure you. And then they hit us with back-to-back bangers with none other than the T-Flip. And yes, it's even more entertaining than the last thing. Something I'll never get personally is the average redstoner's usage of wool to line their redstone. Like, I get the utility of color coordination and all, the only issue being that one strike of the match and your hard work is gone, just like that. Like, just use color-coordinated wood or something. But thankfully the next tutorial teaches you on how to make something that will truly impress light fixtures. I'll be back in around 3 hours. Wait, so you're telling me the world-renowned Jeb door wasn't made by Jeb? What are you going to tell me next? That Notch is a bad person? Next tutorial. This one continues the trend of all these books teaching you on how to be a prick by furthermore teaching you how to be a prick. What I don't think the people reading realize is that when people open a chest of yours, that doesn't mean they're trying to steal from you. And on top of that, does Mojang not realize how conspicuous this hallway leading to the trap chest is? Anyways, I gotta stop getting bogged up in the details. Time to make a super TNT launcher that will blow up the super arrow launcher, as that super arrow launcher is superly flamethrowing a TNT which will be blowing up to killing this zombie. Rube Goldberg can eat his heart out. And then it immediately goes from those relatively simple contraptions to this image, and I'm done closing the book. Okay, so what did we learn? I learned how to make this thing. What should I have learned? How to use a comparator. This being the last book I cover is pretty fitting in my personal opinion, as I feel it to have the same sort of soulless feeling as the building book, but instead it is actually kind of informative and helpful as well as interesting. One thing I would have done to improve this book is actually teach things that would be really useful to the average player. As cool as piston doors and light fixtures are, they don't really have any utility and only really serve to look cool. I think something like an auto crop harvester or something like that would have been way more helpful to the average player. But then I had an epiphany. This book wasn't awesome to the average person. None of these books were. They were made to appeal to me in 2nd grade, a kid who wanted nothing else in the world than to learn more about this game, which he thought was pretty cool. And others, even if they don't share this sentiment, can surely relate to this idea in some form of media or another. I think it's time I bring this video to its most deserved conclusion. These books, with none of them being true works of literature or anything, do hold a special place in my heart. Never did I make this video to riff about how good old Minecraft was, with no hope for the game's future. Neither was I going to be making fun of the so-called cringy modern fan base of this 10-year-old game. But then I realized something else. I was a pretty cringy kid. By all modern accounts of what cringe is today, I was a very cringy, dorky kid. But that was no problem, especially to me. I mean, I look back at all those memories with fondness, and while editing the thumbnail for this video, I looked up images of the Minecraft handbooks, only to find there to be an unfamiliar one. Turns out Mojang have revised the handbooks to be updated to 1.16, a whopping 10 versions past what the books I covered today were based on. And then I came to my final realization. There is an 100% chance there is a kid out there, just like how I was, in the same boring life scenario, picking up these books to learn more about their favorite game they can't play in a childhood that could be described by all accounts as boring and dead end. That is the reason I think hating on modern versions of Minecraft and their fans as a classic player is a stupid thing to do. Because who are you making fun of for enjoying the game is more or less the exact same person as you. But does that justify the teachings on how to be a scumbag in the combat book? Hell no!